Good evening. All right, guys, we're going to be reading the additions to Esther. So this is the Deuterochronicle. I think I said it right that time finally. Version, which is in the I'm sure I say it wrong. New Revised Standard with Apocrypha. Okay, so we did 1 through 5. It's like a while ago. I apologize because I've been like, I bought a boat that I just renovated. Like I literally like have like my little like boat license and everything. I'm like super excited. I'm a boat owner. And then we're gonna like tow it from Padre Island to Aransas. It's like a 6-hour tour like Monday. And like I was under the impression that we are towing it with like he was just gonna put it on like a trailer, and he's like, no, I'm towing it with my other sailboat, and like that has a motor, mine doesn't. And I was like, so he's like, you're just gonna be steering it on the water. Like, I don't know. So pray for me. Like, I'm like terrified, but super excited because I'm gonna be like, sailing a freaking boat for 6 hours. And then, yeah, so I'll be parking at Marine. I'm gonna be a liveaboard. And then Gigi, my camper, I decided I'm gonna Airbnb that bad boy and make lemonade out of lemons. So, yeah, so I'm gonna have an RV in the hill country and a sailboat in the Gulf. So, I still have basically like guy sold it to me. It's gonna help me. There's mold all over the ceiling. I like scrubbed the crap out of that like all this weekend. It's like very clean inside, but the mold it's still there. It's very faint now. So I'm just gonna have to keep cleaning it really good until it's gone. Bleach the garbage out of it and yeah. But it was sitting for like a really long time. We sold it to me for a super 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 freaking cheap price, and then threw in like a couple $100 to tow it, and then. He like literally like drove me around like while I was getting like my I had to get like a coolant flush and like a transmission flush, and I can't remember what the other steering power flush yesterday. Like, all these flushes like $400 later. So my car is well maintained and like ready to go now, which is good. He's like a little jacked up, so I'm gonna have to take it to a Mitsubishi dealer. But yeah. So tomorrow I think I'm gonna if as long as I can. So basically the RV, I still need to find a mobile mechanic. The guy who did it last time is not available this weekend. So I need to find someone who's local, hopefully, so I don't have to pay for gas, who can put in a new fuel pump or make sure the old one that he cleaned is fine. But like main things are to just get 2 new batteries, which is like $600 or something. It's like $400 to $600. They said, I don't know. So I'm like, I need to get batteries. And then I was hoping to find somebody who would just kind of like do a tune up on it, making sure like there's nothing else that this guy like sold any of my parts on, and then it's like fine everywhere else. And then I'm gonna move it to an RV park. I have like emails out trying to figure out where I can get it. If you've ever lived, so my ex and I lived in an RV full time for 9 months before we got a divorce. And I was always the one coordinating like where we were going next, and I had like my little app and stuff like that. Like, it was my job, and he was like the maintainer of like everything that went wrong with it, basically. Like, we each had like, I had indoor stuff to get ready when we moved it, and he had outdoor stuff to get ready when we move it. So we kind of take team. We were like obsessed with watching YouTube channel of different people RVing full time. I have a Facebook, so I'll probably be posting more on my remote runway playlist on this, because that's what it's called on Facebook. Bipolar Journalista has a Facebook page. I don't know if you guys know that. Remote runway has a Facebook page, and then Denomination Detective has its own Facebook page. So this is just like another aspect, like this is like the more in-depth version of it. And then I have like more personal stories and just like pictures and stuff on the other ones. And there's also my website, which it was like originally it was just supposed to be a bunch of blogs, and then like I just like I don't know, I've been writing since I was like a little girl, and I just feel like this is just easier, and a lot of people don't want to read anymore, which is terrifyingly sad to me, but like I want to try more podcast stuff now and see if I can do it, and I'm doing it and I like it a lot better and it's easier, and but I do still like the writing, so like I do a little bit of both. So I think tomorrow I'm going to be announcing my business plan, since I'm not going to be working with the tourism company in the beginning. He advised me not to. He said I should use it, all that extra money, for like my overhead costs and like the stuff I'm going to need. I thought my friend Hofer and I were going to partner on this, and we're not. And like, I'm not like the business side person. I'm more like the creative idea person. So, and like the programming person. So I don't know. So I have to shop around for a partner. So I have some people I need to call back, who one was a former coworker, was possibly going to do like cooking for us at the campsites and stuff, but for the Garden of Eden project, which I brought up before, but I'll bring it up again later. But tomorrow I think I'll probably like do like a little thing on it, read my mission statement and everything for you guys and kind of promote it, and then tell you kind of where it's going. But basically the sailboat and the RV are going to be part of it. They're going to be the vacation properties, and then there's going to be campsites all over the world, and there'll be a singles weekend, a family weekend, and a couples weekend, and then we'll do kind of enrichment stuff like we do on all my different things on here. So and there'll be the five dimensions of wellness. So there'll be like a physical aspect, a social aspect, an emotional, intellectual, and then I always forget the fifth one. Social, the social aspect. But it's basically like kind of focusing on everything that I took away from my experience, my like spiritual experience when I was in prison, and like trying to get back to the Garden of Eden and like living minimalistically and stuff like that. It would be really cool to move the RV to Wisconsin and park it like up there. But it just needs a lot of work still. And at the moment I don't have money to put into that, because I want to start putting my money in my business now. But today I basically separated everything. Like I have everything that's going in the RV in one pile, and then I have everything that's going in the RV is in my car, so I can take it tomorrow and start unpacking it and like getting the RV ready. I have a lot of cleaning I need to do from that freaking homeless dude, but whatever. And then I have like a pile of stuff that needs to go to the boat. I already unloaded a lot of stuff in the boat. I still need to go around with the shop vac and just kind of fine tune it, and I'm gonna still keep working on the mold issue. That's going to be, I don't know, it's just going to take a while to get rid of all that. I mean, it's a boat, so it's going to get moldy, but it was like sitting abandoned for like a long time during Harvey and some other stuff. So, and he had bought a bunch of different boats because of Harvey that had just been like abandoned. And then I think it meant to fix them all up and stuff. And so if anybody wants a project, I know somebody with a lot of sailboats if you want to buy one. But they need work, lots of work. More work than mine needed. Mine was very minor work, which was like, and it was very cheap. So I'm like, I'm doing that. But we're going to start with editions of Esther. So we are covering 6 through 10 today. We did 1 through 5 last time. Debating if I should have my mug closer because my throat. Okay. Editions to Esther. All right. On the night the king could not sleep, and he gave orders to bring the book of records, the annals, and they were read to the king. It was found written how Mordecai had told about Bigthana and Teresh, 2 of the king's eunuchs who guarded the thresholds and who had conspired to assassinate King Ahasuerus. The king said, "What honor or distinction has been bestowed on Mordecai for this?" The king's servants who attended him said, "Nothing has been done for him." The king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had just entered the outer court of the king's palace to speak to the king about having Mordecai hanged on the gallows that he had prepared for him. So the king's servants told him, "Haman is there standing in the court." The king said, "Let him come in." So Haman came in, and the king said to him, "What shall be done for the man whom the king wishes to honor. Haman said to himself, whom would the king wish to honor more than me? So Haman said to the king, for the man whom the king wishes to honor, let loyal robes be brought, which the king has worn, and a horse that the king has ridden with a royal crown on its head. Let the robes and the horse be handed over to one of the king's most notable officials. Let him robe the man whom the king wishes to honor, and let him conduct the man on horseback through the open square of the city, proclaiming before him, thus shall it be done for the man whom the king wishes to honor. Then the king said to Haman, quickly take the robes and the horse, as you have said, and do so to the Jew Mordecai, who sits at the king's gate. Leave out nothing that you have mentioned. So Haman took the robes and the horse and robed Mordecai and led him riding through the open square of the city, proclaiming, thus shall it be done for the man whom the king wishes to honor. Then Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman hurried to his house mourning and with his head covered. When Haman told his wife Zeresh and all his friends everything that had happened to him, his advisors and his wife Zeresh said to him, if Mordecai, before whom your downfall has begun, is of the Jewish people, you will not prevail against him, but will surely fall before him. While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman off the banquet that Esther had prepared. This is Bible study tools. Okay. Sorry, an ad popped up. Okay, additions to Esther 7, or chapter 7 now. So the king and Haman went into the feast with Queen Esther. On the second day, as they oh my gosh, you guys, I need tissue. Hang on. What, Patty? I never get sick. I've been sick 2 times this year. This is still recording. Yes. Okay, where did we leave off? On the second day, as they were drinking wine, the king again said to Esther, what is your petition, Queen Esther? It shall be granted you. And what is your request? Even to the half of my kingdom, it shall be fulfilled. Then Queen Esther answered, if I have won your favor, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be given me. That is my petition, and the lives of my people, that is my request. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be killed, and to be annihilated. Her timing is awesome. If we had been sold merely as slaves, men and women, I would have held my peace, but no enemy can compensate for this damage to the king. Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther, who is he and where is he who has presumed to do this? Esther said, a foe, an enemy, this wicked Haman. And Haman was terrified before the king and the queen. The king rose from the feast in wrath and went into the palace garden. But Haman stayed to beg his life from Queen Esther, for he saw that the king had determined to destroy him. When the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman had thrown himself on the couch where Esther was reclining, and the king said, will he even assault the queen in my presence in my own house? As the words left the mouth of the king, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbana, one of the eunuchs in attendance on the king, said, look, the very gallows that Haman has prepared for Mordecai, whose word saved the king, stands at Haman's house, 50 cubits high. And the king said, hang him on that. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then the anger of the king abated. I don't know why, but there's always wedding dresses from Hebrews on this thing. Like it's always this like same really one that's like really pretty. It reminds me of my mom's wedding dress that I wore, but it's like even prettier. It's got like a cute like belt thing. Okay, back to this. It's just Esther 8. On that day, King Ahasuerus gave to Queen Esther the house, excuse me, of Haman, the enemy of the Jews, and Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was to her. Then the king took off his signet ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. So Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spoke again to the king. She fell at his feet, weeping and pleading with him to avert the evil design of Haman the Agagite and the plot that he had devised against the Jews. Then King, where'd it go? Then Esther, wait, what? Then the king took off his signet ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. So Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. Then Esther spoke again to the king. She fell at his feet, weeping and pleading with him to avert the evil design of Haman the Agagite and the plot that he had devised against the Jews. The king held out the golden scepter to Esther, and Esther rose and stood before the king. She said, "If it pleases the king, and if I have won his favor, and if the king seems right before the king, and if I have his approval, let an order be written to revoke the letters devised by Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote, giving orders to destroy the Jews who are in all provinces of the king. For how can I bear to see the calamity that is coming on my people? Oh, how can I bear to see the destruction of my kindred?" Oh my God, you guys. Then King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther, "I can't be sick. I have too much to do." And to Jew Mordecai, "See, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and they have hanged him on the gallows because he plotted to lay hands on the Jews. You may write as you please with regard to the Jews in the name of the king, and seal it with the king's ring. For an edict written in the name of the king and sealed by the king's ring cannot be revoked." The king's secret secretaries were summoned at the time in the 3rd month, which is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day, and an edict was written, according to all that Mordecai commanded, to the Jews and to the satraps and the governors and the officials of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces, to every province in its own script, and to every people in its own language, and also to the Jews in their script and their language. He wrote letters in the name of the king Ahasuerus, sealed them with the king's ring, and sent them by mounted couriers riding on fast steeds bred from the royal herd. By these letters, the king allowed the Jews who were in every city to assemble and defend their lives, to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate any armed force of any people or province that might attack them with their children and women, and to plunder their goods. On a single day throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, the following is a copy of this letter. The great King Artaxerxes says to the governors of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, my nose is running again, 127 provinces, and to those who are loyal to our government, greetings. Ended on greetings. I gotta go with us. Say hi, Tay. Say hi, Tay. Instead of raining here, Kai has this little thunder shirt on. Getting tuppy. You're getting tuppy, buddy. This is not even like what happened. How did it unsnap? And then he's got like a little calming spray patch on this side that smells really good. That's like. I swear it's not COVID, it's just a cold. I have no other symptoms but stuffy runny nose and sore throat. And when I did have COVID, I was sleepy. And what was the other thing? I literally, like, I just could not get out of bed. Literally, like, I, like, felt like I was, like, dead. Oh, and I lost my sense of taste. I was sleepy and I couldn't taste anything. That was it. So after I had it, I was like, this is, like, nothing. Why is everybody freaking? I know I had, like, a mild case, but I'm just, like, saying, like, I'm not really afraid of COVID. If this is, like, these are my symptoms. Like, I'm just really freaking tired. Like, I literally cannot get out of bed. I lost my job because of it at assisted living. I didn't know I had COVID, and I didn't know it was wrong. Like, I thought I was like depressed or something from like my mental illness. So like, they're like, why didn't you call in? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, I was like, I switched medications. Like, I thought it was like related to that. Like, I had no idea what's going on. And like the medication, like I like had like my whole mouth swelled up. So like I was like, well, maybe that's why I can't taste anything, because like it's very weird. And so like basically, like, I no call no show, because I literally I was laying in bed and I'm like, I need to call work. I need to call in. And like I need to call. Like, I literally could not get out of bed at all. I was like dead. Like, it was like horrible. And so like but I had COVID and I didn't know that, because I was like describing it like maybe 3 months later to a friend. And he's like, Chelsea, you lost your sense of taste and you couldn't get out of bed like that. Like, he's like, you had COVID. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was like, it's like a week long. And then he's like, you lost your sense. Like, those are like the two. I was like, but I didn't have fever. I didn't have like any of these other, like, he's like, yeah, but you still had it. I was like, okay, well, that was really easy then. Like, that's all I got. Like, whatever. Okay, he wrote letters in the name of King Xerxes, sealed them with the king's ring, and sent them by mounted couriers riding on fast steeds bred from the royal herd. By these letters, the king allowed the Jews who were in every city to assemble and defend their lives, to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate any armed force of any people or province that might attack them with their children. Oh my God, I get tired. And women to plunder their goods. Huh. On a single day, throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. The following is a copy of this letter. The great King Artaxerxes, to the governors of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces, and to those who are loyal to our government, greetings. Many people, the more they are honored with the most generous kindness of their benefactors, the more proud do they become. And not only seek to injure our subjects, but in their inability to stand prosperity, they even undertake to scheme against their own benefactors. They not only take away thankfulness from others, but carried away by the boasts of those who know nothing of goodness. They even assume that they will escape the evil-hating justice of God. Oh my gosh, my nose is so frustrating, guys. I'm just going to cover it while it like drips. They even assume they will escape the evil-hating justice of God, who always sees everything. Forget. And often, many of those who are set in places of authority have been made in part responsible for the shedding of innocent blood and have been involved in irremediable calamities by the persuasion of friends who have been entrusted with the administration of public affairs. When these persons, by the false trickery of their evil natures, beguile the sincere goodwill of their sovereigns, what has been wickedly accomplished through the pestilent behavior of those who exercise authority unworthily can be seen not so much from the more ancient records that we had on as from investigation of matters close at hand. In the future, we will take care to render our kingdom quiet and peaceable for all, by changing our methods and always judging what comes before our eyes with more equitable consideration. For Haman, son of Hammedatha in Macedonia, really an alien to the Persian blood and quite devoid of our kindliness, having become our guest, enjoyed so fully the goodwill that we have for every nation that he was called our father and was continually bowed down to by all as the person second to the royal throne. But unable to restrain his arrogance, he undertook to deprive us of our kingdom and our life. And with intricate craft and deceit asked for the destruction of Mordecai, our savior and perpetual benefactor, and of Esther, the blameless partner of our kingdom, together with their whole nation. He thought that by these methods he would catch us undefended and would transfer the kingdom, oh my gosh, of the Persians to the Macedonians. But We find that the Jews who were consigned to annihilation by this thrice accursed man are not evildoers, but are governed by most righteous laws, and are children of the living God, most high, mostly mighty, who has directed the kingdom both for us and for our ancestors in the most excellent order. You will therefore do well not to put in execution the letter sent by Haman, son of Hammedatha, since he, the one who did these things, has been hanged as at the gate of Susa with all his household, for God who rules over all things, has speedily inflicted on him the punishment that he deserved. Therefore, post a copy of this letter publicly in every place and permit the Jews to live under their own laws, and give them reinforcements so that on the 13th day of the 12th month, Adar, and the very day they may defend themselves against those who attack them at the time of pressure. Okay, cough drop and a tissue. I'm sorry, guys. Hey guys, do a little like free ad here for cola. Love them. Literally love their cola. Free cola. Okay. Oh no. Oh, gooey from the freaking Texas heat. They're like melted. I don't care. I need a cough drop in my throat right now. How? I gotta wash my hands. I'll be back. Very sticky. Oh, this is honey herb cough suppressant throat drops. It's made with fair trade honey, guys. So a lot of cough drops have like, I don't know, they just have like way too much sugar in them, or they have like, whatever. I really like Ricola, and I also like the Ricola. Okay. Where were we? I don't even know. It's been so long. Okay. I'm just going to start with chapter 29 because that's where it's Well, it ended right now. You will therefore do well not to put in execution the letter sent by Haman, son of Hamadatha. Frick, I chewed it too quick. It's like literally nothing. Since he, the one who did these things, has been hanged at the gate of Susa with all his household. For God, who rules over all things, has speedily inflicted on him the punishment that he deserved. Therefore, post a copy of this letter publicly in every place and permit the Jews to live under their own laws. And give them reinforcements so that on the 13th day of the 12th month, Adar, on that very day, they may defend themselves against those who attack them at the time of oppression. For God, who rules over all things, has made this day to be a joy for his chosen people instead of a day of destruction for them. Therefore, you shall observe this with all good cheer as a notable day among your commemorative festivals, so that both now and hereafter it may represent deliverance for you and the loyal Persians, but that it may be a reminder of destruction for those who plot against us, every city and country. I knew it was gonna happen. And now I gotta it's like a whole process. And literally, I just stick my hand in there. It's like honey, like literally just like sticky honey. Freaking Texas heat. It's too hot. Every state and country, with exception that does act accordingly, it's just way too sticky. Hey, no. Way too sticky. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just the worst episode. You just delete it and start all over. Oh my god. Where's that, Scully? Extra? Are you shooting? Yeah. Esther? Esther? Where, buddy? I thought you came in. Ah. Esther? Oh, you're back. There's Kelly. Oh, you're on back, sis? Esther? Guess she was playing in the rain and got all muddy. And this guy. Okay. Where am I? It's like the worst one. Okay. How long is this already now? 34 minutes. Okay, pressure's on. So that both now and hereafter it may be represent deliverance for you and the loyal Persians, but that it may be a reminder of destruction for those who plot against us. Every city and every country, without exception, that does not act accordingly, it shall be destroyed in wrath with spear and fire. It shall be made not only impassable for human beings, but also most hateful to wild animals and birds for all time. A copy of the writ was to be issued as a decree in every province and published to all peoples, and the Jews were to be ready on that day to take revenge on their enemies. So the couriers, mounted on their swift royal steeds, hurried out. Urged by the king's command, the decree was issued in the citadel of Susa. Then Mordecai went out from the presence of the king, wearing royal robes of blue and white, with a great golden crown and a mantle of fine linen and purple, while the city of Susa shouted and rejoiced. For the Jews, oh my goodness, for the Jews, there was light and gladness, joy and honor. In every province and in every city, wherever the king's command and his edict came, there was gladness and joy among the Jews, a festival and a holiday. Furthermore, many of the peoples of the country professed to be Jews because the fear of the Jews had fallen upon them. Okay. Additions to Esther 9. Now, in the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, on the 13th day, when the king's command and edict were about to be executed, oh my gosh, on the very day when the enemies of the Jews hoped to gain power over them, but which had been changed to a day when the Jews would gain power over their foes. The Jews gathered in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus to lay hands on those who had sought their ruin, and no one could withstand them, because the fear of them had fallen upon all peoples. All the officials of the provinces, the satraps and the governors and the royal officials, were supporting the Jews. Oh gosh. Because the fear of Mordecai had fallen upon them. For Mordecai was powerful in the king's house, and his fame spread throughout all the provinces as the man Mordecai grew more and more powerful. So the Jews struck down all their enemies with the sword, slaughtering and destroying them, and did as they pleased to those who hated them. In the citadel of Susa, the Jews killed and destroyed 500 people. They killed Parshandatha, Dalphon, Aspatha, Poratha, Adalia, oh my gosh, Iridatha. Okay, more names. Parmashta, Erisai, Eridai, Vasatha, the 10 sons of Haman, son of Hamadatha, enemy of the Jews, but they did not touch the plunder. That very day, the number of those killed in the citadel of Susa was reported to the king. The king said to Queen Esther in the citadel of Susa, the Jews have killed 500 people, and also the 10 sons of Haman. Goodness, what have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is your petition? It shall be granted you. And what further is your request? It shall be fulfilled. Esther said, if it pleases the king, let the Jews who are in Susa be allowed tomorrow. Also do according to this day's edict, and let the 10 sons of Haman be hanged on the gallows. So the king commanded this to be done. A decree was issued in Susa, and the 10 sons of Haman were hanged. The Jews who were in Susa gathered also on the 14th day of the month of Adar, and they killed 300 persons in Susa, but they did not touch the plunder. Now the other Jews who were in the king's provinces also gathered to defend their lives and gained relief from their enemies and killed 75,000 of those who hated them, but they laid no hands on the plunder. This was on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and the 14th day they rested and made that the day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews who were in Susa gathered on the 13th day and on the 14th and rested on the 15th day, making that day of feasting and gladness. Therefore, the Jews of the villages who live in the open towns hold the 14th day of the month of Adar as a day for gladness and feasting, a holiday on which they send gifts of food to one another. Mordecai recorded these things and sent letters to all the Jews who were in all provinces. Very distracting video. Sorry guys, I'm yawning, I'm coughing, my pet's like, thank you for putting up with me today. Okay. In which they send gifts of food to one another. Mordecai recorded these things and sent letters to all the Jews who were in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, both near and far, enjoining them that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and also the 15th day of the same month year by year, as the days on which the Jews gained relief from their enemies, and as the month that had been turned for them from sorrow into gladness and from mourning into a holiday, that they should make them days of feasting and gladness, days for sending gifts of food to one another and presents to the poor. Come on, scroll. What is wrong with your computer? So the Jews adopted as a custom what they had begun to do, as Mordecai had written to them. Haman, son of Hamadatha, the Agagites, the enemy of all the Jews, had plotted against the Jews, destroy them, and the cast prayer that is the lot to crush. Okay, probably didn't hear any of that. Jews to destroy them, and had cast that is the lot, to crush and destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he gave orders in writing that the wicked plot that he had devised against the Jews should come upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Therefore, these days are called Purim, from the word pure. Thus, because of all that was written in this letter, and of what they had faced in this matter, and of what had happened to them, the Jews established and accepted as a custom of themselves, for themselves, oh my gosh, and their descendants, and all who joined them, that without fail they would continue to observe these 2 days every year, as it was written and at the time appointed. These days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, in every family, province, and city. And these days of Purim should never fall into disuse among the Jews, nor should the commemoration of these days cease among their descendants. God grief. Queen Esther, daughter of Abihail, along with the Jew Mordecai, gave full written authority confirming the second letter about Purim. Letters were sent wishing peace and security to all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, and giving orders that these days of Purim should be observed at their appointed seasons, as the Jew Mordecai and Queen Esther enjoined on the Jews, just as they had laid down for themselves and for their descendants regulations concerning their fasts and their lamentations. The command of Queen Esther fixed these practices of Purim. It was recorded in writing. Esther 10, and then I can give my throat a break. Give my throat a break instead of give my heart a break. Okay. Additions to Esther 10. King Ahasuerus laid tribute on the land and on the islands of the sea. All the acts of his power and might, and the full account of the high honor of Mordecai, to which the king advanced him, are they not written in the annals of the king of Media and Persia? I don't know. Are they? I've never seen the annals of the kings of Persia and Media. Like, where can I find those? Like, for Mordecai, they always say it. It's like repeated so many times, and I'd be like, why? Like, where? Like, Fury Kings was so. I like said that every time. I was like, I don't know. Is it? I haven't seen it. I haven't read it. Where are they? Like, there isn't an addendum to the Bible. Like, for Mordecai, the Jew was next in rank to King Ahasuerus, and he was powerful among the Jews and popular with his many kindred, for he sought the good of his people and interceded for the welfare of all his descendants. And Mordecai said, these things have come from God, for I remember the dream that I had concerning these matters, and none of them has failed to be fulfilled. There was the little spring that became a river, and there was light and sun and abundant water. The river is Esther, whom the king. The river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen. The 2 dragons are Haman and myself. Revelation prophecy again. The nations are those that gather to destroy the name of the Jews. And my nation, this is Israel, who cried out to God and was saved. The Lord has saved his people. The Lord has rescued us from all these evils. God has done great signs and wonders that have never happened among the nations. For this purpose, he made 2 lots, one of the people of God and one for all the nations. And these 2 lots came to the hour and moment and day of decision before God. and among all the nations. And God remembered his people and vindicated his inheritance. So they will observe these days in the month of Adar on the 14th and 15th of that month with an assembly in joy and gladness before God from generation to generation forever among his people Israel. In the 4th year of the reign of Ptolemy and Cleopatra, Dositheus, who said that he was a priest and a Levite, and his son Ptolemy brought to Egypt the preceding letter about Purim, which they said was authentic and had been translated by Lysimachus, son of Ptolemy, one of the residents of Jerusalem. That's it for Esther. Additions to Esther, guys. All right, thanks for tuning in. Sorry, this is like a really long one. And if you're sick, I hope you feel better because I'm right there with you, buddy. All right, night, guys. Bye. Bye, Felicia.